The last scene of all, that ends in the strange eventful history. It's a second childish and mere obulation. Sans teeth, sans eyes, sans taste, sans everything. I stood on my balcony and stared at the near full moon high in the night sky. Tomorrow night it would wax completely full. However, tomorrow night I pitied the facsimile of a face on its surface would be absent. 1,000 years had I been around 1,000 years? So much had changed since the last time I saw a moon that did not bear any mark of my own failure. On that suspicious occasion, I had decided to take a leave of every pony in my court and spend some time alone with my thoughts. So much would be set in motion already that I felt the need to room to breathe before my plans came into fruition or failure, as there was very much of a possibility. Raven was a good assistant. Sometimes she was hard to look at. Such was in her resemblance with her ancestor writing desk, but she could not hold down the fort while I collected my thoughts. The breeze was cold against my face. I closed my eyes and turned my face into it. It was nights like this I had missed glamoring myself as a mere Pegasus and going for a night flight over the Everfree. I had not done that in a long time. There seemed to be something reacquiring my attention that I absolutely positively could not be put off until later. Even an army of royal assistants could not salute to insulate me from my responsibilities of ruling for more than a few hours at a time. I sighed. 1,000 years. The number had seemed immutable at its first, but now I stood on the cusp of the final morning and I was not sure if I was ready. I had set in motion and all I can think of was safeguard my little ponies, while also healing my poor sister and returning her to me as she once was. Right now, Twilight Sparkle, my latest student, was in Ponyville, meeting with the ponies I had hoped to be as suitable candidates for a weld in the elements of harmony. They seemed to embody the various attributes necessary, plus after extensive investigations into the histories, they have all seemed to have good ponies. Twilight herself did not doubt would do her best to achieve in the most optimal her outcome. Her nature was rather bookish and had a little too introverted, but also had a thinner inner strength. I had also seen a few times in my long time. Something in her chimed with the most part of my soul I had not heard in, well, far long too long. Since before Equestria made its peace with its political enemies, before my beloved school was broken into factions, while I brokered that peace in distant lands, since before the council ate its own tail and collapsed, only to be born anew as the Equestrian Parliament. Decades and pray passed like its eye blinks, and it seemed yet they only had to be crawled by, allowing me to absorb my triumphs and tragedies in excruciating detail. So much had been done, yet there was still so much to do. Would I get the chance to do it all? Would I continue to shape our nation alone from my pedestal of memories? Thoughts of the future dominated my mind tonight. When I pushed them aside, however, thoughts of the past rushed to take their place. It seemed I was caught in the unending nexus of never was, never will be, and attentively hopeful maybes that will grow into more insistent as minutes have ticked by. Luna, such a detonation of magic behind me was almost a welcome in its distraction. When I turned to see the cause, however, I did not welcome it at all. Celestia, Star Swirls stumbled upon towards me, dripping blood, his beard and his cloak stained with red, angry and red in far too many places. I dived towards to catch him as he crumbled like a puppet with all of his strengths cut. Star Swirl! He weighed in practically nothing. He was all so old, so thin and so sickly looking. I immediately thought of that not long ago with the bare prints of my confusion of his departing words abraded. I will be there at the end. I promise. At the end of the 1,000 years waiting. All this time he had not forgotten. Star Swirl, old friend. Can you hear me? His breathing was shallow, and when I felt his pulse flickered under my magic. I shall fetch a doctor, you must. No! His hoof shot out and grasped mine much tighter than I expected. This is as it should be. His eyes, when they met mine, were bright and alert, a bit full of pain of his injuries. I am at full manticore poison, Celestia, and half my guts rotted away long ago on the floor of the Everfree forest. I know I'm dying. Medical science has improved much in time, but it has not enough for me. This is where I have chosen for my end. Here with you, so you aren't alone as you wait for the dawn. Star Swirl! A lump caught in my throat. This was actually hardly the first death of a loved one I had ever endured, but cut deeper than any other. Even Purple Pumpkin was not as this hurt much. I had known this was ending for near weeks before it came, and it made us the use to make enemy peace with it. This was an unexpected blow. Can I at least make you more comfortable? I'm as comfortable as I'm going to be, girl. He coughed, flecking me with red, and I did not care. I cradled him like a nursing foal, heedless of the mess he made of my regala. How long until dawn now? Did I make it in time? I tried to swallow. Mere minutes. The time is nearly up. Luna will return soon, and You will not face her yet, Star Swirl said softly. First your student and her friends will meet her in Ponyville, but not you. You will see her when she is Luna again. I gasped. She will not be Nightmare when I see her? Star Swirl smiled. I have seen it in my travels. Joy blossomed in my heart unlike anything I had ever thought I could ever feel again. Luna, the true Luna, was going to come back to me. I could hardly believe it. Why would you not tell me this before? Because what has happened happened no matter what I do. Time is not. He closed his eyes. Star Swirl? Joy seeded into desperation. Star Swirl? I'm not dead yet, he wheezed. My molecules all scrambling from time shifting. When I go, nobody, I'll become one with the time stream. He smiled as if some private joke, and then I'll know all its secrets at last. The world broke apart into wet fragments, and I felt the tears pour down from my cheeks. I was no longer sure who or what they're made for. I held to my oldest, dearest friend and choked down my sobs. I'm sorry, Star Swirl. I've made so many mistakes in the past thousands of years. Pshaw, you've made the mistakes you were meant to. Even one thing different, and this moment right now might have not happened. He opened his eyes and stared piercingly at me. At this moment is what this was meant to. On the other side of my chambers, the grandfather clock began to chime the hour. A bright light shone through the window. I heard the echoing laughter, cruel and mockingly I had heard at least a millennia ago. I'm coming, sister dear. Do not give up, Celestia. Star Swirl's breathing hitched and slowed. His horn ignited. I felt myself lift onto the floor and was surprised when the dark shadow riding on the room on the beam of the moonlight screamed in anger. No, she is mine. I have waited too long for this. You cannot have her, Nightmare. I am hiding where in the shadows there do not go fear of being snuffed out of existence. His eyes met mine one last time, in the heart of the sun itself. Nightmare's voice laughed. You think you can hide her, but I will chain her to the sun so she can never be free of her hiding place. Just as she's bound to me to the moon. Enjoy your exile, dear sister. You will never see the sun again. So you think, Nightmare? Star Swirl grunted and slipped from my grasp. His hooves dissolved into glowing pinpricks of light. Each pinprick stared away, becoming in the lost in the shadows filling my room. My time has come. Goodbye, Celestia. Goodbye, Luna. You dare call me by that name? Screeched the darkness. Star Swirl exploded into light. For one instant, room was bright as day. The curtain next to the window blew back, revealing a much younger, bearded face, expression mask of horror. His horn was already glowing whisk away from this time and place. I caught a glimpse of slitted turquoise eyes in the shrieking shadows before the world became nothing but heat, fire, and the place of oblivion.
What's up, my pretties? It's the Lion Queen here. I want to appreciate you all for tuning into this video, and I do appreciate you guys supporting my video by giving this video likes and stuff. If you really enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, comment and subscribe if you're new, ring the bell for notifications to when I upload so that way you guys will get updated for whenever I upload. If you want to follow me on Twitter or DeviantArt, feel free to leave a follow on those if you are interested in following me on those socials. If you want to support my backup channel, known as Miss Dark Shigo, feel free to subscribe to it, as a link to that will also be in the About page section. And with that being said, and that being the case, thank you so much for watching, my pretties, and as always, stay pretty.